presentation, making a masterclass all around client attraction. So while I was making it, I actually hit a roadblock. And I think this is really important to talk about because it's a very basic thing that a lot of people tend to forget, myself included, and I've been doing this for a while. So as I was making the masterclass, I got a little off because I wasn't paying attention to my client avatar. And so as I'm like making these slides and creating this presentation and this training, I was realizing I'm like, I'm not really thinking about the ideal person that I want to work with that I'm speaking to. And so I firmly believe that if you're able to really get clear on your client avatar and your messaging, you'll be able to attract way more clients and you'll be able to create messaging that actually resonates with them on a deep level. And so, what I'm going to share with you today is a sheet that I created last night that has helped me really get clear on who my client avatar is. And I already knew a lot of these things. It was just good to refresh my memory. And like when you're doing any copywriting or any messaging or creating content, it's always good to go back and look at your client avatar and remember, like, oh, yeah, this is who I'm speaking to. These are the problems they have. These are the desires that they have. And I even took my client avatar to the next level. So it's something that you always want to refine and go back and check. So in my case, I added a few things that I'll show you guys. I made this whole sheet. If you want the sheet, you can comment avatar below and I'll be sure to DM it to you. But basically, this sheet is really, really solid. So let me just share my screen here and we can get started. All right. So if you want a copy of this sheet, comment avatar below. I'll be sure to send it to you via the DMs. And essentially, you need two things in place to figure out who your client avatar is. So, number one, you need to know your niche. So, if you haven't nailed your niche yet, I'd highly recommend you download my niche guide. And you can also watch my free niche training. Those are two very good ways to finally figure out your niche. It literally solves that problem A to Z. So once you know your niche, you're going to do market research calls and you're going to collect information on those calls to help you understand more about your ideal customer and what they need and how you can craft an offer that's specific to them and then move on to also create your messaging and create your client avatar. So a few things I recently did to level this up. So number one, I thought of my most ideal client that I work with. And I'm like, okay, this person really fits the bill of like who I want to help. They have the right attitude. They're doing great work. They're getting results. And so I actually named my client avatar after them. So if you have an ideal client that you've already worked with where you're like, yes, this is my person, this is who I want to keep working with, then I would advise you go ahead and provide a name here for you to base your client avatar off of. And this is like a high level summary. So I'll give you an example of mine. And essentially, like these are some prompts that you can explore as you summarize who this person is. But the more you can personify your client avatar, the more your messaging and your marketing is really going to resonate. And so I would advise that you have this high level summary that you can go back and read. Mine is just a few paragraphs. But yeah, you go back and you read it and you refresh your memory and be like, oh, yeah, this is who I'm talking to. It makes it way more powerful. So, in terms of, what questions you want to answer in this, like who are they? What level of skill or empowerment do they have? What are they thinking to themselves? Like, what is the conversation that's happening in their head? Because great marketing really picks up on what people are already thinking to themselves. And so you also want to know, like, where are they in their journey? What level of skill? How advanced are they? Where are they in terms of, closing the gap that your coaching helps them with? And then why do they have the problems that they have? So what are they doing right now, or what are they thinking that is causing them to be where they are, right? Because where we are in life is just a condition of our mental models, of our beliefs. And so there's a reason that they're not getting the results that they want. And if we can pinpoint what problems they have and why they have them, then that is going to be huge in terms of how we can speak to them and relate to them. And I'll give you examples of all these in just a moment. Also, what have they tried to solve their problem, and like how are they feeling inside? Like what feelings are arising because they haven't achieved their goal yet. So I'll give you a quick example. Like, let's say my client avatar's name is Molly. I could say, Molly is a life coach. She recently graduated from an accredited coaching program, but unfortunately, they did not teach her business skills to actually grow her business. She has amazing skills as a coach. She's incredible at what she does. She's had her first few clients already. She knows that she can transform lives and that she's on this planet for a reason. But when it comes to actually getting clients, she's kind of stuck and unclear on the next steps because she doesn't have the business training to go with her skill set of coaching. So she's thinking to herself, if only I had a way to predictably attract the clients that I want, then I could start making 10K a month. I could replace my income, quit my job, and go coach full time and really make the impact that I want to make on this planet. So she knows in her heart that she's been put on this planet for a reason. She wants to make more impact, create more income, provide more experiences for her family, for her loved ones, and ultimately live a life of more freedom where she gets to travel more, experience life with more options, and just have that time and location freedom that we all crave, right? So, in terms of where she's at on her journey, she's like, I've had my first few clients already. I'm just getting started with this business thing. I've made some content. I've tried putting up a website. I've put out business cards and flyers, but I haven't really gotten enough response from the marketing that I've tried. And honestly, I've been doing this for a year now and I'm feeling kind of stuck and I'm not sure of what to do. I don't have clarity on my next steps to get clients online. So, in terms of problems, I mean, the main ones are like frustration around not getting clients, not having the marketing skills to really create a strong foundation for the business, create foundation of messaging that resonates, and also, just not having the volume of discovery calls, not having the volume of clients, and really just not having a clear path of what to do. And as a result, she's feeling a little stuck, a little frustrated, but she's super resilient and she'll never give up because she knows this is her heart's calling and her purpose, right? So that would be like my high level summary of my ideal client. And maybe I missed a few things, but I think that, that paints the picture because when you get that specific and you know that that's who you're talking to, then your messaging and like how you're presenting in your content, in your marketing, in your emails, if in my case I'm doing a master class, right? By being clear on all those things, you're able to speak to somebody in a much more potent way than if you were just kind of generalizing or just saying what you think somebody needs to hear. Really, you want to be super clear on who you're talking to and then weaving and reflecting that back to them. So the next thing is, why are things the way they are for my ideal client? So, I kind of touched on this a little bit already, but I could say something like, she was never taught the skills to run a business. She has tried taking some courses, but unfortunately, they're just these kind of trendy strategies that don't teach principles. So she's really missing the foundation and she's been stuck trying all these different things that are strategy, but doesn't have the mindset. So it's like right strategy, wrong mindset a lot of the time. And, perhaps she Let's see what else here. Why are things the way they are for Molly? Doesn't have the business skills, doesn't have the right mindset, um, doesn't have a niche. Her offer is not high ticket. She's taking one-off calls or selling packages of calls for coaching, which she can't really grow her business off of. She's undercharging. All these things kind of manifest themselves as problems. And then there's core desires. So this I just kind of like bust out a list really quick. So I might be like, okay, core desires, 10K months, six-figure coaching business, um, time freedom, maybe it's working remotely, like replace income and quit job. Let's see, time freedom, work remotely, replace income and quit job, location freedom, financial freedom, all these things are on her mind. And those are just some examples of high level desires. Maybe she has a dream house, new car, vacations, more clients, more impact, living her life's purpose, right? All these things are like going through her mind on a daily basis of like, oh, if I was only attracting the clients I want, then I would have the impact I want to make on people's lives. I'd be living in my purpose and I'd be rewarded financially for that. And I'd be able to transition out of my job and replace my income and make even more money and provide for my family and start going on the vacations I want to go on and do the traveling I want to do and buy my dream house and all these things. So if you can kind of pin down like the core desires, and I just kind of do this as an exercise to like list them out super quick. And then these are all things you can touch on in your marketing and become super powerful. Um, and like you're going to know your niche best. I'm just using the coaching world as an example because I really know that niche very well. And I've worked with a lot of coaches and I've been in this space for a while. So for me, it makes sense, but like I wouldn't be able to pull out so many core desires for like other niches. So I try to stick to what I know here. So second level desires, this is kind of like secondary things that they want. So more discovery calls, more leads. I would say these are like two things that are going to help them reach their endpoint, but they're not necessarily like top of mind. Like they know they need it, but they're not like, oh, if only I had more discovery calls, then my life would be great. It's like, no, if only I had more clients, that's really the highest level desire. So, pains and frustrations, um, like lack of leads, not enough response to content, kind of like spaghetti on the wall marketing, just kind of like, oh, I'm going to make a reel. I'm going to put up my website. I'm going to put some flyers out and put some business cards at a coffee shop. And it's like nothing's really getting traction or sticking. Hmm. Yeah, working a job she dislikes. So all these things, you can start to weave into your marketing in different ways. And it's very, very good to be aware of like where your person is at because the whole point of having a niche and the whole point of having a client avatar and having good messaging is that you can be hyper specific in your marketing to the point where somebody's like, wow, this person is reading my diary. I can't believe like they know me so well. How is this even possible? And the more relevant you can be, the more you establish high degree of relevancy to your ideal client, the more trust is built, the more they pay attention, the more they listen to what you have to say. Because like, let's face it, right? If somebody finds your content or sees your ad or whatever it might be that you're marketing yourself with, once they see that, they're going to give you maybe a few seconds to determine like, is this person worth listening to? Are they relevant to me? Should I be paying attention to them or not? And the way we get that attention and we earn that person's ear and eyes to listen to us and see what we have to say is by being super relevant and specific. So if somebody sees my ad and they click over to my profile and then my ad's all about, growing a coaching business, and then they see on my profile, I help coaches attract more clients. They're like, okay, I can at least give this guy like 5 seconds of my time to see if this is worth it. And then maybe they'll watch one of my videos and they'll be like, okay, Nathan knows what he's talking about. He's made a lot of content. He's speaking very clearly to who I am as a person. I feel understood. I feel seen. There's some degree of empathy here that's happening. And so because of that, I feel connected to Nathan. I feel like I can trust Nathan. And who knows? Maybe they'll become a client in 6 months, you know? So this is the whole point of client attraction, is getting the messaging and the client avatar in your niche so dialed that it becomes magnetic. So consequences if nothing changes, like continue working a job I don't like. What else happens? Staying stuck and frustrated. What else would happen if nothing would change? Um, Continue like marketing, but not getting enough response. Um, Feeling discouraged and not living up to her life's purpose. So you can see how powerful this is, right? It's like here's like an external situation that's going to persist. Here's an internal situation that's going to persist, another external situation. And then like, I mean, this alone, like not living up to your life's purpose is really, really tough, right? So like if you were a dating coach, for example, the consequences is like, oh, well, this person would be stuck staying single. They wouldn't be going on enough dates. They, put up their dating profile and it's doesn't look good and they don't have good photos and they don't have a good bio, so they don't get any matches. And then they get more discouraged and they feel depressed. Like you can see how the consequences can be really powerful to weave into your marketing as well. Now, I kind of do all this as like a crash course high level in the beginning. And this is actually all things I added last night because I was like, okay, how can I really just get to the heart of who this person is and what their desires are, what their pains are, and what the consequences are? Because really, if we want to help people, which we do, we're coaches, we really want to help people in the highest level possible. We need to understand them to the point that we can serve them so well and so deeply. And I've made this chart before. If I had my iPad, I would draw it out. But the greater amount of knowledge you have of your ideal client, the more depth your coaching can provide and the more problems you can solve. So you can make way more impact by focusing on one type of person and helping them solve all these different problems in their lives when it comes to the gap that they're trying to close. Maybe they're trying to find a girlfriend, they're trying to make more money in their business, they're trying to, gain more muscle and get more fit and eat right. Like whatever it might be, the more intimate knowledge you have of their lifestyle, how they operate and who they are, the deeper you can serve them and the more change and impact you can really make. So from here, we kind of, a little bit of this is redundant, but it's just different ways of thinking about the same thing. So I think, demographics, it's good to know, especially when it comes to running ads, this information is going to be very important. So you can, with Facebook ads, with Google ads, things like that, you can target based on age, gender, location. You can even target people based on what kind of job they have, actually, with most platforms, but I don't really do that. Psychographics of my ideal client. So personality traits, what they value, what their characteristics are. These are good things to have. It's like how they're thinking, how they're going about their problem. Their biggest challenge, because like this is kind of the tip of the spear for all your marketing. Like I know, for example, biggest challenge coaches have because I've worked with a lot of them, I've interviewed a lot of them, I have a community with like 1,000 coaches at this point. So the biggest challenge is attracting clients consistently, right? So I can kind of spin all my marketing around that. And for you, maybe if like we'll go back to the dating coach example, their biggest struggle is finding their dream partner. Like they've had some girlfriends in the past, they've been on some dates, but for whatever reason, nothing's really stuck for the long term, right? So they need a relationship coach to help them get on track with meeting the right women, dating, attracting the dream partner, and all the little steps it takes to maintain the relationship. Or, maybe they are all about putting on muscle mass. And so your whole program is geared around that. How specifically is this challenge? So we kind of got into this with like consequences if nothing changes, but this is an important question to answer as well. So how is this challenge impacting my client's life? And we can kind of list, I like to look at this from 4 areas. I typically look at like their health, their wealth. So like health, wealth, their relationships, and like their degree of happiness, we could say. So health, wealth, relationships, happiness, like how is this impacting all these different areas of their life? And the more we can hit on these different angles, the more resonant it's going to be, and the more we're going to demonstrate our knowledge of this person and like how well we understand them. What if they tried to solve this problem? So I kind of touched on this in the beginning, but it's like, yeah, Molly, she tried launching a website, she tried putting up flyers, handing out business cards, she's tried making content, she even tried some DM outreach, but for whatever reason, nothing's really worked for her. And it's largely because it's not the strategy, it's just the mindset that's the problem. It's the way she's thinking about marketing that's created all these issues. So, what does my client ultimately want and why? And how would life be different for them if they didn't have this problem? So, you can go back to like the core desires list that we made at the top and refresh your memory here and start to kind of cherry pick like, here's what they want, here's how this would change their life, and really get specific here and like tell stories, like what would they do once they start making 10K months? Like, you know, Molly has a wait list of clients now. She has made like 10 to 20K a month pretty consistently for the last 6 months, and she's making a huge impact. She quit her job. She's actually just booked her dream vacation to Monaco, where she'll be taking her family to hang out on a yacht for the weekend. Like whatever, get fun with it, but like you get my point, right? Of like how much the life can change and transform through your coaching. And so, yes, this kind of ultimate state of where they want to be and how their life is different because of that is very potent as well to weave into your marketing. So, what's at stake for my ideal client if things don't change? So, this loops back to kind of like the consequence questions, like the cost of inaction, continuing to work a job they don't like, not having the time to spend with their family, um, feeling stuck and frustrated and discouraged because they know they're an amazing coach, but like they're not making the impact they want to make and they're not changing the lives that they know they're put on this planet to change. So, a lot of things to be said here. Specific language, lingo that my clients use. any phrases and words that come up. So, yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of coaches say, "Hey, I want to get more clients," or, I want to make 10K a month, or, whatever it might be. This is important because, again, it shows that like you understand them, you speak their language. Um, you want to gain this intel from your market research too. So I'm not just like making everything up that I'm telling you right now. It's like literally, I have a group of almost 1,000 coaches, and I have done plenty of market research calls, and I've worked with dozens of coaches helping them, with their online client acquisition. And so I have a good feel for like how they speak, what they need help with, what's the lingo. So where do they hang out online or offline? Who are they following on social media? What podcasts, blogs, books, etc. So I think for me, I know coaches are largely on Instagram and Facebook. Those are the two platforms I'm focused on, and YouTube as well. So I would highly suggest that you interview your ideal client, you find out what platforms they're on. I usually suggest you do at least 20 interviews because once you do that, you'll be able to really understand at a deep level where this person's hanging out, who they are, and what types of people they're following on social media. I know, for example, when I did my market research, a lot of people were talking about Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, and then there were like a lot of micro influencers. Like a lot of coaches are following these really small, like niche influencers who they feel a great affinity towards. And so actually you can take some mental notes from that if there's somebody that you follow that you feel that way about who's like a smaller brand. Like, why do I like this person? Why do I want to follow them? What am I getting out of this? And then you'll start to kind of reverse engineer what's magnetic to you. And then you can kind of use that to your advantage as well. Who does my ideal client ultimately want to become? So I would say, Molly wants to be a six-figure coach. She wants a wait list of clients, and she wants to be able to really make the impact that she was put on this earth to make. She wants freedom in her finances, her lifestyle, be able to travel more, and be an awesome mom to her family, right? Like that is essentially the aspirational identity of a six-figure coach, making 10K a month, providing for her family. This is important as well because like if you can understand where they're going, you can help show how your coaching is a bridge for them to get there. And what objections do they have to hiring you as a coach? So this gets a little bit more into messaging and like psychographics too, but I do think it's important, and especially like when you're putting together master classes or you are creating content that's designed to get people to hire you as a coach, you need to address objections. So, I see a lot of people do this where they'll address things like I actually just saw a good one yesterday from Alex Hormozy, and he was like, there's, 100 and some weekend days in a year. There's like this many hours. And if you're working a 9 to 5, you have like X thousand of hours uh to work on your business, but you don't have time, right? So he's addressing the objection of like, oh, I don't have time to get started. But the reality is, it's like, look at all this time you have for like weekends, for holidays, for, the 16 hours a day you're not at work. Like, how are you moving forward? You know? So I thought that that was a really good one. And then it's like, maybe some other objections people have with coaching is like, oh, they can't afford it. And then you can really, make posts around like the cost of not getting coaching, right? And I can speak in my own example here where Like I hired a mentor, like a serious mentor at the beginning of this year, and I was kind of stubborn and I try to figure things out on my own a lot. And honestly, had I just gotten mentorship sooner, I'd probably be hitting at the rate that I'm going right now. I would probably have like 50 or 60K months already, because my audience would have been growing already for a whole year. So that's kind of the opportunity cost, right? Like I refused to spend, 20 grand on mentorship with this person, but then I missed out on like 50 or 60K months, right? So that would actually be a really good piece of content of like you can't afford to not get mentorship because it's costing you your dream business, and the opportunity cost of not making the money you want and staying stuck far outweighs the investment. So identifying objections that they have, weaving those into your content, it's all super powerful. This has helped me really break through in this masterclass that I was making. I've written a number of masterclasses in the past for different coaches and different industries. And some of these masterclasses, I mean, I'll tell you a story. When I was a VP of marketing for a sales coaching company, we launched a new product and we already had a warm audience. And so we made one masterclass and we launched the masterclass. And at the end, we pitched the product, the new product. And we did over six figures in revenue from that launch. So can you imagine you write one masterclass and you get really good at knowing who your client avatar is, and you make six figures in like a week? It's insane what you can do. Another example, so there's another coach who's a marketing coach, and I wrote a masterclass for him, helped him create a whole webinar system in his business. And he's run that masterclass a number of times. He was doing it actually a little too frequently, if you ask me. I think timing is good for, every 6 to 8 weeks to run one. But he was able to, book out, let's see, at least 5 to 10 calls every time he did a masterclass. And then he would, get maybe 3 to 5 clients per time. And a client for him, I mean, they sign a year contract for coaching and it's like 30 grand for the year. So 5 clients is like 150K. So you can just imagine, if you do that every 6 to 8 weeks, I mean, you're making 500,000 a year easy. But also he's grown his audience, he's nurtured them for a long time, he's primed for it. So the point is, the better you are with your client avatar, with your messaging, the more your marketing is going to resonate. It's this resonance that attracts the clients to us and helps us grow our business. So if you want this sheet, comment avatar below. I'll be sure to send you a copy of this so that you can get totally clear on your client avatar and really get specific in your marketing and start attracting the types of clients that you want to work with. So I hope this has been super helpful for you guys. This is powerful work. Once again, it really helped me break through on some of the marketing that I've been doing. And it helped me like really dial in this masterclass training, which I'm so excited to invite you to when it's ready. It's going to be a client attraction masterclass. And I'm so stoked on it. This is my first masterclass that I'm running to my audience right now. So if you guys want to join, comment masterclass below, and I will also send you the link to register. I'm still making the training, but once the registration page is up, you'll be the first to get the link and you'll be the first to be able to sign up. So thanks so much, guys. Hope you got a ton of value here, and we'll see you in the next video. Again, if you want the client avatar sheet, comment avatar, I'll DM it to you. It's going to be a game changer in terms of how you speak to your audience, how you relate to them, how you understand them, and the impact that you're able to make on them as a result. All right.